Ladies and gentlemen, I'm unfortunately not able to join you in person today, but thanks to technology, I am able to share a few thoughts with you regarding the challenges and opportunities brought about by the fourth industrial revolution, this new world we find ourselves in. I'd like to start my presentation today to give you more insights into Industry 4.0, or referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. And in fact, that was the topic of the discussions at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, at the beginning of this year. It was a great privilege to attend the Davos meeting, and it was great to see various leaders in action. Secondly, I'd like to share with you some positive developments regarding interactions between various stakeholders in South Africa. And in fact, these stakeholder interactions started just prior to the Davos discussions. And then lastly, I'd like to share some strategic developments in MMI with you around our purpose and around our strategic focus areas. I'd like to start by giving you some insights into Industry 4.0, or the fourth industrial revolution. And in fact, because of the increasing pace of change, the world as we know it today will not be the same. It will be unlike anything we've ever experienced. According to Professor Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, we have never lived in a time of greater promise or greater peril. So what we need to understand these changes around us. We need to manage the challenges, but we also really need to capture the opportunities. And I'll highlight a few of those as I go along. So let's look at the impact of the fourth industrial revolution on a variety of factors of our lives. The first example is the concept of driverless cars. And in fact, the first driverless cars have already been manufactured and are being tested in America. And it is estimated by 2020, many of the car manufacturers that we all know today will manufacture driverless cars. The second example is the concept of 3D printing, which is a very complex manufacturing process. But in simple terms, it's really by printing successive layers of a 3D object, and at the end you create a 3D object. Today, some manufacturers are able to build almost a complete car through the concept of 3D printing. Third example is the flexible materials being tested by the University of Harvard. The example shown here is a mobile phone that has been bent, and these flexible materials can be utilized for a variety of purposes over time. The fourth example is the impact of robots on jobs, or robotics. And it is estimated that 5 million jobs will be replaced worldwide by 2020 as a result of the impact of robots. Let me also give you some examples of advances in the digital space. 3 examples. First example, around the Internet of Things. You've heard about all these digital devices that are talking to each other in your house, where the television is connected with a microwave and is connected with your mobile phone. And to get more practical, it is estimated that by 2020, there will be 100 billion such devices that are connected in some or other way across the world. Multiples the number of people that we have in the world. The next example is the example of mobile commerce, really doing transactions on your mobile phone. And it's expected that the number of mobile transactions will increase significantly over time. That by 2020, more than half of all e-commerce transactions will take place on the mobile phone. The third example here is the concept of robo-advisors, which is already being used internationally, to help giving simple advice, specifically in the investment space around the construction of portfolios. But we'd like to give you the message today that from an MMI perspective, we believe face-to-face financial advice will remain absolutely critical going forward, and that robo-advice cannot fully replace that, particularly where there are complex needs to be met or complex solutions to be designed and developed. Particularly, for example, in the risk insurance space, where all of you are operating. I'd like to share a few examples of advances in the biological space. First example being the concept of designer babies, made possible by advances in genetic engineering. So theoretically, it's possible to choose the color of a baby's eyes or the color of a baby's hair. but clearly many ethical issues to be considered before this can be taken further. The next example in this space is the concept of personalized medicine, which has been made possible by advances in genetic profiling of individuals. And in fact, it is estimated that personalized medicine would become far more popular over time than general medicine. If we take these advances to the next level, from an insurance perspective, it could significantly change the way potential clients are underwritten for new business or the way we price for clients, and could potentially over time mean that we can design a risk pricing particularly relevant to a specific individual. But again, many ethical issues to be considered before this can be taken to the next level. So ladies and gentlemen, I've shared with you a couple of changes brought about by the fourth industrial revolution. But as businesses, we need to do some introspection and make sure that we up our game all the time, that we adapt our business models. So let me give you a few examples where big organizations, like insurance groups, have to improve or adapt their business models. Firstly, we have to become far more flexible in the way we do business. We have to become far more responsive to changes. Secondly, we have to innovate more. Even small innovations are important and will give us benefits. Clearly, the big innovations are profound, but any innovation absolutely critical in the fourth industrial revolution. Third focus area, a focus on operational excellence. We really need to up our game all the time and drive down costs so that we become more and more excellent at any operational process. Then we need to be open to partner with anyone in the ecosystem that will help us deliver a superior client experience. It is no longer practical to provide all the solutions in-house. We really need to be open to partner with outside people where the end result gives a better experience from a financial advisor point of view, but also from a client point of view. And then the last critical focus area, we need to make sure that we remain client-centric all the time, that we put clients at the center of everything we do. So as we change our business models and adapt, we need to make sure that the clients remain at the center of everything we do. We've talked a lot about the impact of the fourth industrial revolution on the world. But let's talk about South Africa and where South Africa finds itself. And as you can see from the graph, our economic growth rates are really pedestrian. The more recent quarter shows a negative growth rate of 1.2%. And in fact, these growth rates are far less than the 5% per annum growth rate envisaged by the National Development Plan to really help South Africa to achieve its objectives by 2030. As a result of the pressures on South Africa's economy, we've experienced very, very positive developments regarding the interactions between various stakeholders in the country. And these interactions, in fact, started just prior to the Davos meeting in January, the beginning of this year. We've seen a tremendous number of interactions between government, business, labor, and civil society. And to give you an idea, about 100 CEOs of big businesses are involved at a variety of levels in these interactions. I'd like to share some tangible benefits brought about by 3 different work streams. The first work stream is focusing on the prevention of a sovereign downgrade. And this work stream has certainly achieved its first milestone by avoiding a sovereign downgrade for South Africa in June. A lot more work is required to avoid a sovereign downgrade by December, but certainly the first milestone has been achieved. The second work stream is focusing on ways to empower entrepreneurs. And a variety of businesses in South Africa have contributed voluntarily money into a fund already amounting to a couple of billion rands. And these funds will be invested in a variety of projects to advance entrepreneurship. And then the third project stream is really to change the confidence narrative and to look at a variety of obstacles in various industries and to try and remove these obstacles so that over time we change the narrative in the country from quite a pessimistic one to a very positive and constructive narrative about South Africa's excellent potential. So I must say, as far as I'm concerned, very, very positive developments around these interactions. We've seen some first milestones achieved by these various working groups, but a lot more work is required over the next couple of months to really make the benefit far more tangible. Ladies and gentlemen, in tough economic times, it is very, very important that companies have a very clear purpose. Why do they exist? Why do you ask the employees to come to the office every day? So at MMI, we've defined our purpose to enhance the lifetime financial wellness of people, their communities, and their businesses. As far as we're concerned, a very, very noble purpose. A purpose that's even more applicable in difficult economic times, because in tougher times, the need for clients to really manage and enhance their financial wellness becomes even more important than under excellent economic conditions. In order to achieve this purpose and objective of MMI, we have defined 3 different strategic focus areas that will really support the enhancement of the financial wellness of our clients. First strategic focus area, to focus on growth. Now clearly all businesses have to grow, but we have a particular focus to strengthen our distribution partnerships to really advance growth. So we'd like to strengthen our relationships with all of you today to advance growth across MMI. One of the other projects underway in MMI to advance growth is to diversify the organization from a geographical perspective. So we're really focusing on our businesses in the rest of Africa, and we also plan to enter India later in the year with a health joint venture with a big organization there. So very exciting initiatives there. Then the next strategic focus area across the group is the focus on client centricity. And I've spoken about the need to put clients at the center of everything we do. But we need to make sure that as we transform the organization, we remain truly, truly client-centric, and that we continue to meet or exceed client expectations all the time. And then the last strategic focus area, which is also critically important in tough economic times, is really to focus on excellence. We really need to drive down the costs and improve our operational processes all the time, so that we can say hand on heart that we are excellent. In order to achieve our strategic plans, there are a number of enablers that are very, very important. Firstly, we need flexible and modular systems. We need to improve and enhance our IT capabilities all the time to make sure that we can deliver on our promises. I've spoken about the importance of innovation. We need to innovate all the time. And in fact, all 17,000 MMI staff members need to up their game and innovate, even if they innovate in a small way. Clearly, big innovations are profound, but innovation needs to be prevalent across the group. Then the third enabler, which we believe is critically important, is really to invest in our culture. More recently, we've completed a culture survey across the group, which has given us some fantastic insights into the way we live our values and the areas where we need to invest more to really build a unique and a values-based culture. And then last but not least, from an enabler's perspective, is the importance of data analytics. You've all heard about big data. We really need to mine our data and to analyze our data so that we get insights into client behavior and so that over time we can provide more superior client solutions. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude. We've talked about the profound impact brought about by the 4th Industrial Revolution on the globe, but also on South Africa. And it is very clear that we need to understand the changes, understand the challenges brought about by the 4th Industrial Revolution, but that we also have to capture the opportunities arising from the 4th Industrial Revolution. We've also talked about South Africa and our unique challenges. Clearly, we found ourselves in very, very tough economic times. But there are some very, very positive developments behind the scenes between various stakeholders to really work together, as envisaged by the National Development Plan, to give ourselves a far better future and far better prospects. And then lastly, I've shared MMI's purpose with you, as well as our strategic focus areas. And as a proud South African corporate citizen, we are very, very excited about our plans. And we really believe that these plans that put the clients at the center of everything we do are excellent to capture the opportunities brought about by the 4th Industrial Revolution. And in this process, a close and strong partnership with our financial advisors are critically important. So we hope to cement our relationships with you during the course of today and through our various interactions. Thank you very much.